tutored her, took her under her wing, showed her how to be a Big Ten center. Nobody would have expected the success that we're seeing out of Monica Sonano her freshman year. But she learned from Megan, and she just get better and better and better. Obviously, Coach Jensen is a tremendous post coach, and she has our post players, and she does such a great job with them. But Monica is just trying to pay it forward, just like Megan did for her.
What have you been working on defensively this offseason? I know Caitlin and Monica have talked about it before. You know, what drills have you been doing? How's the team look defensively?
I think we look much better than we did, but I guess, you know, the proof's in the pudding when we see it on a court against somebody that doesn't have an Iowa jersey on. But it's a mental focus that's there now that was not there. It's understanding the importance of it, and they have all bought into that. And we did make some schematical changes in it. So there are some things that we're going to do differently this year, and I think we needed to do that too, because that gives them confidence, right? Like, you know, you can't do the same thing and expect a different result. So we've got, you know, we did some things that are changes that are hopefully going to give them confidence in that area, but also it's just the first thing we do in practice every day, you know. So I think you do the most important thing that you value as a coach in practice every day, and for us now it is rebounding and defense.
Coach, 4 teams, Sweet 16, 1 team in the Elite Eight. What kind of statement do you think that made about the league last year, and how can that carry over to this year?
I mean, it was an amazing accomplishment for the Big Ten Conference, but we know how good we are. That's just the thing. I'm tired of being a secret, though. I'm really tired of the Big Ten women's basketball being a secret, because we are a good league, a great league that won the Big Ten ACC Challenge last year. So the success that we had in March was tremendous, and we have everybody coming back. So I think this March we're really going to make some noise.
How does that impact the competitiveness of the league, you think, from your standpoint, the number of quality programs? How does that maybe elevate you guys?
Well, I mean, you have to be on your game every single night. I mean, there is no nights off. Every prep has to be unbelievable. Every scout has to be prepared to the best of your ability, because everybody in this league is good. We have fabulous coaches in this league, and of course, you know, 7 All-Americans returning, all these amazing women in our conference. So it's going to be so tough and challenging, and like I've said before, it's easier to make it to the Sweet 16 than it is to win the Big Ten Conference.
Curious about the equity report, how much you read it over the offseason, your thoughts, and some of the steps that are being taken, how that can be taken in the future to just ensure maybe more visibility for sport and so forth.
Yeah, can you believe one weight rack made this much difference? And that's really what it was. You know, one person taking the initiative to use social media and really raising awareness about the inequities that were going on. It's just made the NCAA have to open their eyes and hear what's happening. I mean, I think as women's basketball coaches right now, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to keep building awareness about the inequities and keep fighting to straighten things out. But last year, you know, everybody says COVID was terrible. COVID might have been a really good thing for women's basketball.
As far as the tournament itself, having the Final Four at the men's site versus having it standalone, do you have a personal thought or a preference as to
Having the Final Four with the men?
Yeah, and
Yep.
the same site as the men's, same city, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Versus having it stand on its own.
I think we have a good enough product that we can stand on our own, and that we should stand on our own. I might be, you know, different than other people, but I believe that our women deserve their own stage. And if we're sharing that with the men at the Final Four, I don't know. I feel like we are good enough that we deserve our own stage. Maybe not on the same weekend. Thank you. Hey. What's that, having it not on the same weekend? I mean, there's such a lot of basketball when they're in the same weekend to be covered, and that's, you know, every area is not as big as it was, right? There's not as many newspaper journalists as there were, so you have to spread it a little thinner, and so I think having it opposite is, I think, the best thing, but again, there are people that are smarter than me that are going to make those decisions. I think it is, and I think we are. I think the WBCA, the people that are in charge, are really doing a great job of just kind of getting us all together and making sure that we're all on the same page and bringing these inequities to our attention. I think sometimes as women's basketball coaches in the past, people didn't pay as much attention, us ourselves, like of the inequities, and now it's right there in front of us. And so now if we don't do something about it now, it's our own fault. We have the opportunity with social media and just the attention that the NCAA tournament brought last year to those inequities. This is the time. We have to go. We have to make noise. I think they are. I think they're doing it. I think our leadership is doing a really good job of trying to unite us and get us all on the same page.
This is the first year that they're going to use the March Madness branding for the women's tournament. Do you have any thoughts on that?
It seems like such a little thing, doesn't it? Those two words. I mean, March Madness, are you kidding? Like, it was that protected that we couldn't use those two words. And everybody associated NCAA basketball, men or women, with March Madness, and yet we couldn't use those words. To me, it almost seems childish. But now we get to use them. It's one step, but it's a pretty tiny step when you look at all the other things.
Coach, I met you on Zoom, but
Hey.
I feel like I know you.
Ah.
I'm doing some fill-in with the Big Ten Network.
Wonderful.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So I was one who hadn't watched much Big Ten women's basketball in a long time because I was doing a new coach in the NBA. So every minute I had, I was watching all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, your comment rang true. Just the level of play. Like, you should be sick of talking about it, right? 'Cause
I know.
it is so, like, that was one of the things where I was like, oh my God, like, I just was enthralled and I was trying to watch as many games as I could to catch up. But what a treat to cover you. And
Thank you.
And it's great to see that you have most. I was really sorry to hear about Sharon Goodman.
I know.
I was hearing about it
She was playing so well.
yeah, but other than that, I think we're kind of the same era. We've seen, the growth of the game. It's so wonderful to see. But I guess overall, I just want to say it's been a privilege.
Well, thank you.
Everyone I talk to about you talks about what a great coach you are.
Thank you.
So Jim Russo, he's
Oh yeah. Yes, of course.
doing some AAU work.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
pleasure. I wanted to meet you for
Thank you.
say. And tell me a little bit about beyond Monica Zanana. Could you elaborate a little bit more on your other post who will be coming in to fill in?
Right. So Addie O'Grady is a freshman, and that's, I guess, but that's where Sharon was last year. Sharon was a freshman. Addie's a different type of player than Sharon. Addie's taller. She's at 6'4", the tallest woman on our team, but she's not as physically strong as Sharon Goodman. Yet. She could get there, but she's not there yet. She's not quite as physical. She's more of a finesse player. So we look a little bit different when she comes in. But I'm not going to hesitate to use 5 guards either. And with our offense, we are perfectly fine with going 4 out, 1 in, or a 5 out situation. And if my best player's coming in and if I can defend the other team without a center, I can do that as well. But I'm excited about Addie and the growth that she's going to make under Coach Jensen's tutelage, because Coach Jensen is, again, one of the best post coaches in America. Thank you.
Hey, Lisa, let's go back to the beginning. Not all the time between the years you've been involved. Talk about how the resurgence of Iowa basketball. A lot of people on our network here, our ES Sports Network, don't know too much about Iowa basketball. Talk about Megan and Doyle, and like we did, and Clark, and whoever else is out there that says, hey, I think I want to go to Iowa City. Talk a little bit about the progression of your program since the resurgence.
Oh, I think well, that's a good question. I mean, we came in and fortunately won the Big Ten championship our first year when we were there, and then lost a lot of people to graduation from that team. And so kind of, some people come in and have the rebuilding process their first year. We kind of had it after that first year. Even though they only had won 9 games before we got there, they had, I think, really good talent for us to work with that unfortunately went on and graduated. So then the rebuilding process began. But when you get a special player like a Megan Gustafson, I think it gets the snowball going, right? It gets things moving in the right direction. Exactly. And then we had some great point guards like Kathleen Doyle, and that was just an unbelievable duo that got to the Elite Eight. But, you know, everybody thought that was a lot. It was a lot to do with Megan, but Kathleen was a huge part of that. And then the next year it was her show and her opportunity. I think people understand that at Iowa, you can become a star. You have the media attention in Iowa. I know we don't have a lot of large markets, but we do get a lot of media attention with the Big Ten Network and with the fan support that we get, that you can become a star there. And I think as coaches, we've done a good job of understanding you may have a star, but it's a team, you know, and getting that balance and getting the kids to buy into that balance. And now, of course, we have Caitlin Clark. But, you know, do you get Caitlin without Kathleen and Megan? I don't know. I don't think so. I hope so. I mean, that's the plan. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Coach, I got the feeling that maybe people slept on the Big Ten a little last year. Not by the end of the year, but even the seeding's a little bit. And this year it feels different. I've heard from Lloyd coaches earlier the feeling that this could be as good as it's been or better than ever. I don't know. You've got experience. I feel like I've known you for years. Seeing you come here to Indy, you've seen the conference ebb and flow, and sometimes strong, sometimes not. How good is it now? How good is it comparatively speaking to when it's been good before?
Again, with the additions that we've made, you know, Rutgers, Maryland, Nebraska coming into our league, it just got that much stronger. And I just don't know why it's such a secret. And you think it has to be because of, you know, the East Coast market and that we don't have that. But I think this year it's going to explode. I really do. I think when we get fans back into the stands, again, we've sold more season tickets this time than 2 years ago than we did the whole year. So we're in a position to really have a great home court advantage. But I know it's good because I think we're having a hard time scheduling. You know, I mean, I think that whenever you're good, right, our conference is good. Our conference is having a hard time scheduling non-conference opponents right now. So I think that's a good sign, and hopefully America's going to step up and understand how good this conference is.
You got like 7 women on your national gold medals that are coming back and playing.
And 7 All-Americans returning, the National Coach of the Year returning.
All the honors, player-wise.
Yeah.
Best player, best defensive player. What was the other one? I forget, but it was good, and they're all back.
Yeah.
Northwestern. I mean, it's like I'd like to say Caitlin's one of the finest players I've seen in ages. I was down covering the game at IU where maybe a 4 or 5 minute lull and you win that game. She was just insane that day. And
Yeah, and then she fouled out in that game. I think there's the only game she fouled out all year. Caitlin is a special player. And if people don't want to come watch her play, then they're crazy. They're missing an opportunity. And we said this with Megan. Like when Megan was, you know, going into her junior and senior years, you need to watch this player because she is special. And Caitlin is the same way. And I think Caitlin, as guards, you can have more of an impact in the game than you can as a center. Because you have the ball in your hand more, and you can. And it's just a little bit more exciting watching those type of players, guards, than it is post players. Just because, you know, the post is reliant on getting the guard, getting them the ball. So Caitlin is a special player, and you know, this conference and really the country needs to step up and kind of take notice.